Welcome to the Militia Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Trigger, and my guest today is a YouTuber by the name of Boofcan. He manages several YouTube pages, and he's a very smart, very articulate individual who has a lot to say and a lot of advice to give new content creators. The conversation was absolutely wonderful, and I hope you guys enjoy it. We did have a little bit of video issues at the very beginning of the podcast, but at about the 7-minute mark, you can see where the video picks up. So I've got a still image for the first 7 minutes, and then after that, we've got video podcast happening. So a little bit of technical difficulties, but we got it figured out, and I hope you enjoy the podcast. So without further ado, Mr. Boofcan. Welcome to the podcast. I appreciate you, like I said. And I kind of want to start with something that's just my own curiosity, which is where'd the name come from? Where did you get that name, dude?
Okay, Boofcan. All right, so this name originates from Fortnite, right? 2017, 2018. Everyone loved to play Fortnite.
Yeah.
Well, if you remember in that game, they had the gas grenade, right?
Yep.
And every time me and my friends threw it at enemy players, we would be like, all right, we're passing the boof. And then, they're in these like canisters. So we're like, all right, we're going to call them boof cans. And that's kind of where the name came from. We just thought it was like so silly and dumb, but memorable enough that like we were like, this has to be used for something.
Yeah. And it's short too. So it's memorable. It's easy. It's funny, man. I saw the name and I'm like, I got to ask that first. That's got to be the first thing, man. I need the origin story of Boofcan. Well, anyway, I want to congratulate you on your recent success. I know that I was looking at your channel, and what I noticed is that you kind of started the channel maybe like at the beginning of the year last year, and then like there was a little bit of a gap between like when you first had a couple of videos, and then like recently you've done a lot of Destiny 2 content. And so I want to congratulate you on the success, because the recent content really blew up over the last like 2 weeks. And you went from like, a couple hundred subscribers to, I don't know what you're at now, but last time I looked, it was like you were getting close to 2,000, and you might be there now. But you did mention in Twitter that this wasn't your first channel, so you have some experience. When did you start exactly? I'm just kind of curious.
Gotcha. So, yeah, you did notice a gap. So this was like a second channel, a throwaway one. I wanted to get into Destiny 2 because I was like, wow, this is an easy niche I feel like I can blow up into. But I never did anything with it. So you saw those like first 2 videos, and then like there's like a year gap, or like half a year's gap, where I didn't upload anything. And then I was like, all right, I think this is the perfect time. I kind of consider like investing in a stock. It's like you kind of want to get into a niche or community when it's at its lowest point.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, hey, this is the perfect time. Everyone's burnt out on Destiny. There's not really much going on. So I was like, all right, I can make my community here. And as Destiny starts to recover, then the views will shoot up with the channel. At least that's my mindset with that.
Sure.
But in terms of like when I started doing YouTube and whatnot, and this is not my first channel. It would probably be since 8th grade. Like, I'm not kidding, when I was in middle school.
Wow.
I was making Naruto Storm videos back in the day. Now, they were terrible, but they were actually pulling in views. Because me and my brother, we used to make like these mods for the game. And we used to use like a text editor. It's really weird how like these mods work. And we also use like Photoshop to do like skin mods for the game. Anyways, that blew up. Like, even to this day, like some of those mods are still on the nexusmod.com website.
That's crazy.
So it started back then. But throughout the years, I just kind of like did things here and there. So I did like the Naruto thing. I did like Destiny for a little while and then dropped it. I did Fortnite for a little while, and I got some success there. I did vlogging for a little while, and then I also made like video essays on another channel. Like, I've had too many channels to name, but
Got it.
I definitely since 8th grade, I've been doing it on and off. But I've always known about niches and like knowing that like if I'm gonna make content, make it in something specific, because that's how you can really blow up fast.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting. It's one of the questions I was going to ask you, because I'm a huge Destiny fan. I've been playing, I don't know, I had like 1,500 hours in D1, and then like, I don't know, probably something similar in D2. And I took like a long break. I haven't played it. I just started playing it again, but I hadn't played it for more than a year. And it was kind of interesting, the timing of that, because I started playing again, and then I started looking for content again, like how to do stuff, or some guides basically. and your channel came up, and it was so fresh and new, but it had a lot of polish, and I was very intrigued by that. That's why I reached out to you, because I was just kind of confused. Like, channels that small don't have that type of polish. Like, you are very clear, you're very concise, you're very like calculated with your thumbnails, with your titles, with the way that you're basically curating the content for a specific audience. And I thought that was very interesting, because normally content creators don't know how to do that, when
Yeah.
they first start, at least. And I thought the channel was maybe like a couple months old, or you're just kind of playing around. But it was I have to give you props, man. It's very good for what what I thought was a young channel. Turns out you've been doing content since you were in 8th grade. But anyway, it's still very good. It's very good, and it's tough to get the ball rolling. So, like I said in my email, I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate the just sort of that blow up success you've had over the last couple of weeks. It's crazy. It really is.
If you want to talk about it, like this is something like I do every single day. So you want to get into like the nitty gritty, like, best practices, things
Let's
like that,
do
like
it.
my mindset with thumbnails and whatnot.
Yeah, let's do
Because I'm
it.
sure people listening would love to hear this,
Yeah.
especially if they are wanting to be a content creator.
Yep. Exactly.
So I guess the mindset here. So I guess we can just break down Boofcan. What was I thinking about to make it blow up? So first things first is always the niche. Like, you always want to know, what do you want to do? Too many people think they can just be a variety person and just do a little bit here.
Yep.
I'm gonna make a Fortnite video. I'm gonna make a Destiny video,
Yep.
or a Forza Horizon video. And like, you really want to stick to just one thing, because the cold hard truth is that no one's going to care about who you are and what you make until you make a name for yourself.
Right.
And it's a lot easier for people to care about like what you're doing when you can explain and like make content in something very specific. Like, something I always say is that if it takes you more than like a sentence or two to explain what you're doing, then you need to like condense it down.
Yep.
So like, when I see your channel, I can tell that it's about racing videos.
Yep.
When I look at my channel, I know it's Destiny 2 videos.
Yep.
So when you can offer that value up front, and like you already know like what you're doing and what you're providing, then people can like understand it better and like put you in a box. I know that sounds weird. People think, oh, I don't want to be put in a box, but it's like,
Right.
they know to go to you for that specific content.
Right.
And you want that, because like you want to be that very super targeted growth, because it's not like 2013, 2012, you can just upload whatever and the algorithm is going to push it out. Which leads me to my next thing. Picking a niche is actually really can be really hard for people, but I have a little tip to like figure out what you want to do. So have you ever noticed on the YouTube homepage, it will show like little different categories. So at the very top, it'll say like what you're interested in. So say like Naruto, Destiny 2,
Right.
MMOs, cooking. So like those little tabs up the top, right?
Right.
Um, those are like the niches. Like, it shows you exactly like what niche those are. And when you click on it, it shows you only content from that niche. So if you can pick something like that, you can like pick a specific category or topic and just start making content there. You'll start slowly popping up into people's recommended, because that's the way the algorithm works right now. If people are watching cooking videos, the algorithm's going to show them more cooking videos.
Right.
And you want to be in that, suggested or recommended right there.
Right.
So yeah, once you have that done, I always like to talk about the content you should make, and I always recommend how-tos and evergreen tutorials and things of that nature. So like, if you're gonna want to be a Destiny YouTuber, right? The quickest way for you to grow is not going to be you uploading PvP highlights #1 or
Right.
trials carries on stream. This was epic. You want something that people are already searching for. So you want things like, what are the flawless rewards this week? How to go flawless, or, what is the best gun to use to go flawless? When you start thinking in that mindset, you can start making videos that people are already searching for.
Right.
And once you appear in that recommended, right, or in their search box, then you're more likely to get some traction.
Right.
And once you do that for a little while, then you can slowly start expanding to other content. Like, you can start experimenting with the PvP highlights once your name's a little bit bigger. But I always like to say double down on what works. So my last two videos that really blew up were the Nightfall glitch, which I'll talk about why I made that video, and also the Destiny news video, which was like everything that's happening in season 12.
Yep.
And with those two being the biggest videos, I should definitely double down. So if I wanted to grow Boofcan even more, from I think we're at 2K right now, I should make everything that's going to happen in season 13 or another new style video. Because if it's already worked, double down, keep doing the same thing over and over again. I know that sounds counterintuitive. Like, why would people watch the same thing over and over again? but they really do. Like it's proven to work. Why would you go and do something else?
Yep.
It's already working. Don't stop. Keep going. You know.
Exactly. I do the same thing. I try to add variety, but it's hard, man, because when I start to think about what's going to work, I have a feeling already when a video will pop off because it's similar to something I've done in the past, right? If, for example, I do car builds, I'll just do more car builds if people are really into that. I'll just do different cars every time. And that's what I did for a long time, and it grew the channel pretty well. But what really worked was, like you were saying, it's sort of that tutorial style content, how to do something. You know, you're helping someone in some way, and then they come back to you for that same thing over and over and over again. So yeah, it's a smart strategy for sure. For sure.
Yeah, and I know it sounds boring, and a lot of people are like, but I don't want to make tutorials. I want people to love me for me. Well, you have to give value to get value. So it's like, do the tutorials, man. Trust me. If you really want to grow, you kind of have to like, you have to do stuff that you don't like to do what you do like eventually. You
Yes.
know.
Yes.
So it's like, I recommend they do that. You know, evergreen tutorials, things of that nature. You know, do stuff that people are already searching for,
Yep.
and then once you have a little bit of following, you can start experimenting with, oh, maybe then I can upload my PvP highlights and see how it does. You know, and just kind of branch out from there. It's a lot of experimenting with YouTube. There's not a singular one way, one fits for all, I guess, solution for everybody.
Yep. I agree. I agree. Speaking of you know, one singular solution and fits all type of thing, it seems like there are a ton of Destiny content creators, and like there isn't one person who does all of it. Like I've watched a bunch, and there's no one that does all of the content for Destiny 2. Is that kind of the reason you thought it might be a good idea to get into Destiny 2? I mean, the game's been out forever, right? I mean, it's been years since it's what was the what was the thought process there?
So I'm a little cocky in that regards when it comes to starting a channel, and I feel like you kind of have to have that mindset. But it's just like, okay, they're all doing that. Well, it's my turn. Like I don't have a mindset that things are oversaturated. I'm like, well, you can give your unique perspective, your point of view. It could even be the same information, but I have a different voice from other people, so
Right.
they might want to listen to me instead of them.
Right.
So it's like you got to have that mindset. Like, don't let anything stop you. Like, if I wanted to go into Fortnite, yeah, it's gonna be a lot harder. There's way too many creators in Fortnite,
Right.
but I always have the mentality. It's like, okay, I'm gonna find something that people aren't doing and fill in the gap, you know, or at least take something and do it better. So for me, my inspirations in Destiny 2 right now is I look at videos like Astrocross, Rick Kakis, and a few other people, and I'm just like, I like what they're doing. I enjoy it. I'm gonna do the same thing, but add my own little flair and try to polish it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
And not everyone can do that. Not everyone has the, you know, microphone, the equipment, the skills to do that.
Hey.
But it's like if you really want to do something, you know, slowly invest your money into it. It's not like overnight I had all this gear and equipment. Like I worked
Yep.
paycheck to paycheck, saved my money, bought the
Same.
gear, you know, and then I just slowly made my content better and better.
Yeah. Are you working now, or are you doing YouTube full time?
No, I'm still working, but I feel like I have one of the coolest jobs in the world, man.
Really? What is it?
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking.
So besides YouTube, I got a pretty sweet gig with Amazon. So are you familiar with the Amazon warehouses and whatnot?
Yep. Yep.
So I'm a picker there, so I'm the guy that gets your products.
Right.
But the thing that's different between my schedule and everyone else's is that I'm on a thing called a flex schedule. So I go into the warehouse whenever I want. I choose my hours, I work, and I leave. And as long as I work 20 hours a month, I don't get fired. And
Hmm.
me being a college student and doing YouTube, like it's the perfect thing. And the pay is really good. Base is 15, but a lot of times they'll have these like surges or surge bonuses where it's like, oh, we don't have enough workers. Can you come in? So
Right.
they tack on an extra $3 an hour, extra $5
Wow.
an hour. And it's like, what I feel blessed to have a job like that, honestly, because it's like it
Wow.
just perfectly lines up with what I'm doing. So it's like
Yeah.
if I want to dedicate a week to content creating like I am this week, I just don't work at all. And the next week I pick up however many hours I want.
Right. It's super flexible. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. It seems like the sort of the anti-story from what you normally hear from people who work at Amazon. I'll be honest. I've had a couple of friends that work there. They didn't like it.
Now I did do the normal shift over the summer during the peak of coronavirus. So we had 40
Hmm.
hours a week as a picker, and I gotta say that was terrible.
Tough.
But having this flex shift now, I mean, I love it. You know, a
That's
lot
cool.
better.
That's really cool. Um, you know, I had a question on here that says, "Talk to me about your approach to content," but I feel like we covered that. You definitely have a sort of I would say, confident, a very confident approach to content. I mean, you really are. You're basically saying that what you're going to make is something that someone would want to watch, regardless of whether they watched something like that before. It's you are confident in your content, which I think is important for any young content creator to learn. Like, you have to know that no matter what anybody says, you are creating something that you believe in, hopefully, and that's that's enough for right now. People are in a hurry to blow their channel up, and they want success overnight, and they just think that, I don't know, it's weird. I've talked to a lot of people. They think that that it just happens, and I don't think it does. I think there's a lot of time and effort, and you accumulate gear, and there's just a lot that goes into it. It's not something that just happens overnight. But I see a lot of comments from kids, especially, that say like, can you shout out my channel, and I want to blow up, and I want to do this, and it's like, man, you got to put some work in. You need to help people. You need to provide value. You need to slowly get the equipment that you need. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about just the amount of younger people coming out of high school or coming out of even middle school, and they're just like, they really want to do content creation, but they don't really seem to want to put the work in? Is that something you
Yeah,
see?
I notice that a lot. Like, I hate to throw my friends under the bus, but like they see what I do, right? And they're always like, man, how do you do it, bro? Like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I tell them what to do, and they're just like, man, I don't know if I can do that, bro. I work full time. What do you mean I got to make a video after work, bro? I'm tired. And I'm just like, if you really want it, you got to put in the work.
Yeah.
But interesting to tack on to that is that, like you said about shouting out channels, believe it or not, I actually don't tell anybody about my channels. And like the closest friends that know me know what I do. But in terms of like just saying, hey, you should watch my channel, or would you
Right.
want to check out my channel, or things like, I don't ever say anything like that. I try to make it as best as possible to make videos where the YouTube algorithm will automatically push out my content
Right.
and whatnot. So like those evergreen tutorials and whatnot. But I never straight up ask people to watch. And the reason why I don't do that is because the people that do watch, I want them to be really absorbed in the content. I want them to find me, not me try to push it down their throats. Because
Right.
if they feel like they found me and they found a hidden gem, they're a lot more likely to respect the content and appreciate it more than if I was like, hey, can you check out my video, man? Tell me what you think, or do you think it's good or whatnot?
Mm-hmm.
And it also falls back inside the whole like confidence thing. That's the best way I gotta say. You just have to be confident about your content. A lot of people aren't proud of what they make, or they feel like, oh, no one's gonna watch it, and they get discouraged. But if it's like you get up and you act like you already have 100,000 subscribers, or you already have 1 million subscribers, and you keep that mindset like, I'm doing the dang thing, man. I'm making this content. It's great content. Now, I mean, take that with a grain of salt. Like, don't be like, oh, I have the best content in the world and it's actually crappy. Be open to criticism.
Sure.
But if you go in that mindset of like being like, I'm confident, I know what I'm doing, it's going to show off when you're making your videos. You're going to be a lot more happy about what you make. You're going to be a lot more proud of it. And it's going to come through as you're speaking and talking about whatever you're talking about, or doing whatever you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Let's talk about quality, or quality versus quantity. How many videos do you think you would want to put out in a week, and how many are you currently doing right now?
Gotcha. So that's a hard one. It really is niche dependent. Like, you definitely want a strike of both. You want enough quantity, but also with quality. So I guess I would say ideally, at least from my experience, you'd want to upload at least 2 to 3 times a week. Try to. I mean, in a perfect world, you would want to upload every single day and maintain quality.
Mm-hmm.
But your mental always comes first, and YouTube burnout and just content creation burnout is a real thing. So
Definitely.
like, I would say put quality first, but try to keep it up with quantity as well. If you can't do both, then I would say just try to keep it one a week, but keep it quality, or one video every 2 weeks, but keep it super quality. I don't know. I don't really have too much to say on that because it just depends on like your niche. Like some niches, daily uploads is a lot better. Other niches, it's like, okay, upload once a month if it's like a really good video essay or something like that. And you really gotta like do research and whatnot.
For
So
you,
I don't know.
for you personally, what are you trying to do?
So for me, I want to upload every single day. Destiny is just that kind of like niche where it's like
Yep.
people always hungry. They're like, oh, what can I do now? What can I do next? You know, what
Yeah.
glitch is this? You know, there's some fiends, man. They love Destiny. So like I try to keep up with that. And sometimes it doesn't work out. Like I know today I was working on something, it's just not gonna come out. But it will come out tomorrow. I'm gonna make sure it comes out. But
I know how you
yeah,
feel.
I'd say I'm uploading about 2 to 3 times a week.
2 to 3 a week.
So
Yeah.
yeah, as of right
That's
now.
that's I've been doing that for about a year, about 2 to 3 times a week. And this last month, I decided I'm gonna try to put out 5 videos a week, or yeah, 5 videos a week in December. And I did it with the exception of 1 week. And I'm telling you, when I started January, I was like, ah, I'm tired. I'm
Yeah, I
tired.
mean, consistency is way more important than intensity, and I
Right.
apply that to every aspect of life, you know. So like some people will be like, all right, bro, 31 days in the month, I'm doing 31 videos, and they'll do it, but then next month they're like, bro, I got to do it again. And like that burnout is real. So it's just like you got to find a strike of balance, something that's like good for your niche, but also good for you. But always make sure that you're placing yourself first because like YouTube's not going anywhere.
No.
Yeah, you can lose relevance and whatnot, but you're always one video away from blowing up again. And
Yep.
some people don't realize that. They're just like, oh, my channel's dead. I can't do anything. As long as you don't give up, you're constantly experimenting and like you're seeing like what's going on in your niche, like you can blow up like if
Yeah.
you really apply yourself. I'm not saying that just to be cheesy, like you're always one video away from blowing up.
Yeah. That's something I talked about with a couple of my friends as well. Like people who've thought about content creation as a possible career or even just a hobby. And then they go, well, I just want to stream. Like, you guys,
I
you
have a lot
can't
to say
just
about
stream.
that.
You can't just stream. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, my opinion is that streaming is it's so oversaturated right now that and there's no discoverability on any of the stream platforms. You can't just get found on when you're streaming, you know? So to from my perspective is that you have to use the platforms that do offer discoverability and then become something and then stream. If streaming is your end goal, that's fine. But you gotta create an audience first on another platform and then bring them into your stream, which is something that I've done a little bit of. I do about once a week. I'll do a stream on Need for Speed Heat, and I get a fair amount of people in there. It's pretty good. I think it could be more based on the size of the channel, but for the most part, people found me and they want that tutorial style content from me, and that's it. They don't want to watch me live, and I totally get that. But I've been telling this to other people, like, man, you guys gotta create something first, help people, provide value. Then you can do what you want. That's
Mhm.
I don't know. What do you
Like
feel about that?
I wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said. And like I have a lot of friends and people I know that just like I want to stream and I'm like, bro, do it. Like that's great. But just know that you sitting there streaming 12 hours a day for your two viewers is not going to get you to grow. And like you said, Twitch and other live streaming platforms like that, there's no discoverability. The top 10% are always going to dominate, you know, the search
Yep.
feed or the recommended feed.
Yep.
And unless Twitch implement something like YouTube where it's like organic, you can organically grow, which Twitch really doesn't have any organic growth right now. You're not gonna like get the audience you want. So like you said, you got to provide value. And if you don't want to do a tutorial, at least make something that people are already searching for. So like an example right now, hopefully you guys can relate to this. Like if you're in Destiny, if I knew I wanted to be a Destiny streamer like Glad in them, I should do a how-to tutorial on like some of the hardest challenges in the game, like how to two-man Tanics or something like that, or doing a video about, I don't know, the time I got 50 kills in Crucible in one game.
Right.
Just something that like sparks interest, people are searching for or would be likely to watch. I know it takes a little bit. You might be thinking like, well, I don't know what people want to watch, and I know it takes time,
Yep.
but you kind of have to like analyze your own behavior, like really think about what you're clicking on, what you're watching. Look at thumbnails that stick out to you in your own subscription box and home feed, and just try to take mental notes and be like, okay, why did I like this? What part of it was it? The thumbnail? Was it the title? And when you really start being like self-reflecting, like what you're watching, whatnot, you'll start picking up on small little tidbits of like, okay, I like that this has big bold font, or I like the premise of this video idea, or I find myself always watching this type of format or content style, and like Well, I what is it? The saying's like, "Great artists steal" or something like that. I shouldn't. I'm not recommending that you straight up steal people's content, but do know that YouTube is literally the same people doing the same exact thing over and over again, but just innovating it a little bit more or making it slightly better. And
Yeah.
that's honestly the truth.
Do
It's
you
the cold hard
consume?
truth.
Do you consume content on Destiny like a lot or
Yes,
okay?
I do. And any niche that I like want to make content in, I always go in as a consumer first before I become in as a producer. You know.
Got
So like I'm always stalking the Reddit,
it.
Twitter, my own subscription box.
Yep.
I'm just like, because all my focus right now is this channel. I want to blow it up. I want to take it to 100K in 2021. After that, I don't know. I might go back to my one of my other channels, but this one I know I want to take it to 100K this year. So I'm like, what's going on Destiny? What's going to happen on the Reddit? You know, what glitch did you guys find? Let me see. So like, you definitely have to be a consumer, because if not, how do you know what people are going to watch or what they want to see or whatnot?
Right.
You kind of got to watch what's already successful so you can mimic that in a way.
Yeah, one of the best things that YouTube has ever implemented to the creator dashboard was the what your viewers are watching. Also, I don't know what that box is called, but it's a really helpful like box. Like, there's a couple of really big creators in the race world, and I noticed their videos are always there, right? And I can see what topics, what topics that these other giant creators are doing, and I can do my own variation of that. I can talk about how I feel about it, or whatever it is, whatever the topic is. But that is a great tool. So kudos to YouTube on
Mm-hmm.
that one. But I recommend any of the young creators to definitely pay attention to that for sure, for sure. Um, how many channels have you gotten over the 1,000 subscriber hump? Just curious.
So of my own personal
Of your own
channels,
channels, yeah, 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 yeah.
there are three that I'm like I
Three.
bounce around, right? But in terms of helping other people, because if you were to look at my YouTube dashboard, there's like 20 different channels. Because like I'm the go-to guy from all my friends, or at least like medium-sized content creators are like, all right, Boof, or all right, Xanders, all right, Chris, whatever you want to call me, whatever they know me by. They're like, can you become a manager on my channel? You know that feature, right, where you can like put someone else on your channel and they can
I've
look at all
never
your
tried that.
analytics and whatnot.
No, I've never tried that.
Well, it's a feature, right? You can add people as managers or owners, which never add anyone as an owner unless
Right.
like they're actually an owner, because they can take over your channel. But a lot of people add me as managers, and I don't ever mess with their channel though. But I look at their analytics, and a lot of times I'm looking at my Discord right now. It's just like a list of people that just like they'll ping me, and I don't mind. And they'll be like, "Hey, can you take a look at this? Look at the analytics, or read the comments, and be like, hey, what can I do better?" So I manage at least like five different channels, and a lot of them are at the 50K, if not 100K mark.
Wow. It's impressive.
Now I can't
Impressive.
give away who they are for
Right.
privacy reasons,
Right, right, right.
but
Of course.
like when you start looking at, which not everyone's gonna have that like report to be able to do this or even want to do this, but like there's things I've seen like across different niches of like there's this like universal thing, I guess you could say, that like universal metrics that are always going to be important, like watch time, click through rate, engagement, and like you start to see a trend of like what works and what doesn't work. I can't really go into depth on that on this podcast, but do know that like I do know what I'm talking about, if that makes sense, right? Like
I get it.
I have a lot of experience there. So three channels of my own are over the 1K hump, with Boofcan and Xanders. Those are two I'll give away, because those are my two ones that I'm like working on right now.
Sure.
But everyone else, like, I don't know, it's just crazy. But I've definitely helped a lot get over that like 1K hump. If you apply the things we talked about now, trust me, like you will start to see growth
Yeah,
if you take it to heart.
yeah, you need to be consistently working on it. One of the things that I really focused on in the beginning was making every video better than the last one in some way. Whether that's quality or information or thumbnail, title, whatever it is. But I was just trying to improve every single time, because I think eventually you end up with a really high quality product if every single video is better than the one you just did. So I don't know if you took that strategy when you started out, but um, I don't know. It's just something that it helped me for sure.
Subconsciously, I definitely do that, but I've kind of been subscribing to this mindset of like, once I make a video, I don't think about it. I'm just focused on the next project. And I guess I'm doing that just so I can just keep content
Keep
coming out.
moving.
Because because I already feel like my quality's at a point where it's like anything else I do is going to be a little extra.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone's ever talked about this, but like you can overdo quality, you know? it gets to a point where it can be annoying if you're adding too many special effects,
Hmm.
too many transitions. It's really cool that you learn how to do these things and they're dope, but too much of something can be a bad thing.
Right. Definitely.
Um, so like some people are like, oh man, I learned how to do all these fancy transitions and whatnot. Just like, keep something that is quality, but don't overdo it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I want to go back to something you said earlier. You were saying that you're in school right now. How old are you, and what are you in school for?
So I'm 20. I'm a junior in college now, and I'm in school right now for public relations with a minor in marketing. And I
Okay.
have not changed that since I started school. I don't plan on it. It's just something I feel like I could be good at. The job market seems okay-ish given the current world, circumstances.
There's a lot going
But
on.
yeah, I'm just trying to like, graduate at this point, and like I'm not too worried honestly. I feel like I'm really technical and savvy enough, and I have a lot of different like things that I'm into, not just YouTube, but like investing, and then like I have friends that do business stuff, and like they own their own businesses, and like my parents own their own businesses, so it's like I'm not too worried that I won't be able to find work at least somewhere.
Mhm.
But yeah, college, I don't know. That's just something that's like on the back burner. I hate to say that. You would think I'd give it more respect, but just like it's something I'm just doing, man. It's just like a plan C, in my opinion.
Sure.
My dreams and goals are definitely into content creation and whatnot.
Yeah. So what's the goal, man? What do you want to do? You want Boofcan to be the channel that you're managing full time and have that be the thing that pays the bills, or is it a combination of these two channels that you have, or what's the end goal?
Honestly, the end goal is definitely to build up my own personal brand, which is Xander's.
Okay.
And the reason why that is because while I do enjoy the content I make, I don't make anything I don't love to do. I really like the idea of like video essays and vlogs, almost like a mix of like Casey Neistat and like Vsauce in a way. Like I like those IRL videos where it's like they're doing something, they're going about their day, but they're trying to accomplish something or learn about something.
Sure.
So it's not like I don't want to go that Logan Paul approach or like, David Dobrik approach, which is just like a compilation of just crazy and funny things happening. I want there to be like a thing, a topic, right? So let's say I might go to a video that's like, why is the pizza in New York so good? Or why is this style of pizza, New York style pizza, so favored? And that would be like the video topic. But
Sure.
the actual content would be me leaving my home,
Yep.
going to New York,
Yep.
exploring the place in 10 minutes. Like it might take me a couple $100 to make that video or in like a lot of time and effort to edit and whatnot. But I want to take these like big, cool, broad topics, condense into a 10-minute video or 20-minute video. And like that's the thing. So I guess long term would be IRL content, but given the circumstances that's going on in the world, and I do take it seriously. I'm not gonna travel to New York right now, or like
Yeah.
really even leave like my hometown right now. Like I
Yeah.
just want to be respectful and courteous to other people. Like that'd be really selfish of me to do that right now.
Yeah. It's
But I guess
huge.
that'd be the end goal. Is just like making IRL content that's like actually good to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
I love
know.
gaming, I do, but it's not gonna be the end all be all.
Sure. Makes sense. Yeah. I mean, you got to follow what you love, and it sounds to me like you love creating in general, and that's just keep following that, I guess, man. That's awesome. I think for me, I would love for this channel to be the thing that pays the bills, but I kind of had a I fell into this a little differently than you did. I mean, you're 20, you're very young. You've had a lot of success early with this, and YouTube wasn't a thing when I was 20. I mean, it was, I think it was around, obviously, but it wasn't what it is now. There wasn't a career option on YouTube, and so I fell into sort of the regular 9 to 5 career path, move up the corporate ladder type thing. I work in sales, and now I'm thinking this is not really what I want to do forever. I don't want to be a salesman forever, but I love creating and I love helping people and I love gaming. I've been gaming since I was 5 or 4 or whatever it was. So I mean, for me, ideally, I'd like to get away from the 9 to 5 eventually and have this be my full-time gig. So it's really, man, it's really refreshing to see someone of your age just know themselves so much that they know what exactly what you want to do at the end. You know what it's going to be, and you're very like I'm gonna make it happen. You know, at such a young age, I didn't know what I was doing. I was 20, getting drunk every weekend, playing beer pong, and you know, and going to
Not me.
college. You know, I was
Not
serious. That's what
me.
I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, okay, I guess I'm working 9 to 5, going to college, and getting drunk on the weekends. You know, so I don't know. It seems like a crazy long compliment that I'm giving you, but I really do. I almost envy you a little bit because I wish I knew what I wanted to do when I was 20. I really do.
I really feel like that comes down to like what you like consume and like the product of your environment.
Sure.
So like, and also does with your personality too. Like I am blessed to have like the intuition, I guess you could say wisdom that like I already knew what I wanted early on. Like at 8th grade, I was like, these people are doing something on this YouTube platform. Let me get in on that. So like from middle school, I was like, all right, I want to do this. Cause like, wow, look at Markiplier, look at this PewDiePie guy, look at this person. You know, they're really doing the thing. So I was like, I want to get a slice of that. But even though I have this very confident and like optimistic view of like, I feel like I can really make it as a content creator, like I said, I always have a plan B, C, D. So like, you know, plan C is college. Another plan is that I'm always taking like 10, 20% of my paycheck and it's going right into either crypto or the stock market. And like, I don't care if I lose all that money, but I like to know that like I have something building up in the background. I would never put all my eggs in one basket.
Sure.
So while I do recommend that people like do the things that they're doing, you know, pursue the dreams they want to do, you know, be optimistic, but also be realistic. Things can
Sure.
always go south. So it's like, try to make sure that you're okay financially in many different areas of your life.
Yeah.
So whether that's just making sure you always have a job, making sure you're always investing, or always have a plan C if you get fired from the job, you know, always be on the market per se, or always have opportunities, you know, lined up, which not everyone can do. I know I'm speaking like it's easy, man. It's easy.
Yeah, just put
It's
20%
definitely
of your
not.
pay away. It's fine.
And not everyone can do that. Not
Oh,
everyone can do that. They have like responsibilities, family, kids, whatnot, bills to pay. But like, you definitely do want to try to like, if you are early,
yep.
be responsible. I know that it sounds weird, 20 saying that, but
I
just
know.
like keep just keep your options broad, man. Just always plan for something to happen. You know.
Yeah, you must have had good parents, man, because it sounds like to me you got your head on your shoulders straight, and if they own their own business, that's a totally different person who owns their own business. It's like a more free person. It's weird. You work for someone, you have to
Yeah.
do what they need, you have to do what they want, you have to work for someone else and what they are trying to build. But when you build your own thing, it's so nice. Like I this YouTube thing has been really good for me mentally. Like just building something on my own has been super therapeutic. So I just want to say like you probably have good parents. They probably have taught you well, and you've got like 3 different plans. Your success is not an option for you. It's an inevitability. I
There's there's this one song that I love. You know, Playboy Cardi. Have you ever heard of that artist?
don't think so.
Well, he's a rapper, right? And he makes some pretty interesting music. But there's this one song that's called Long Time. And there's one line in the song that says, uh, I'd rather die before I come in last. I don't know. I always felt like that was like my life motto. It was like, I'd rather die chasing my dreams than like being complacent, you know? At least that's just the way I see it. It's just like, I only have one life. You know, my years are gonna pass by before I know it. If not something tragic, I hope nothing tragic happens to me. But I just
Right,
always have that mindset that's just like you never know when your expiration date is.
right,
So it's just like I'd rather struggle and die trying to do what I love and just putting that like first, than just like being complacent, just wishing you having that woulda, shoulda, coulda. I
right,
wish I started the YouTube channel. I
right.
wish I asked that girl out. I wish I, you know, tried to do this job opportunity, or at least attempted. You know, we can't do everything. We can't be all NFL stars. We all can't be 8-figure entrepreneurs. And but as long as you try, that's all that matters. Like as
Yeah,
long as you can say that like I really did give my heart into it and did my best given my circumstances, then like you shouldn't have any regrets, you know. And
yeah,
I just don't want anybody to have regrets.
yeah. I agree. I agree 100%. That's super good advice for anyone that's listening. Um, yeah. What's next, man? What's the next move for you? Are you just working on Boofcan?
Yeah, honestly, big move right now, at least in my life, is just getting finances right, finishing college, working on YouTube. I guess it's the top three things. I'm letting the world kind of figure itself out right now. We're in a really interesting time, 2020
Weird.
and 2021.
Weird.
So I try to just let those things do itself. I'm not complaining. I'm not on Twitter, screaming, complaining about this and that. I'm just trying to do everything I can for myself and just trying to go with the flow the best I can.
Yeah.
It's tough times for sure. Like it's very rough, but it's just like I'm just trying to do everything I can. It's like to put myself ahead. Whether that's like, all right, going to Walmart and flipping items, going to Target clearance section and flipping items, selling random stuff around the house on eBay. It's just like I I can't like let this bring me down,
I
and
know.
it definitely has. I've been knocked down a bit with everything going on, and I know a lot of people have, and
A
a
lot
lot
of
of people
people have.
lost family members, things they cared about, and it's just like I'm just trying to like make the best of the situation. That's the best way I can say it. So
Yeah.
I, I I'm just trying to make the best. That's the best thing I can say.
I agree 100% with that. Just make the best of it. This stuff will pass, I think. We're in a really, really weird time. And I honestly, this year has been, it's crazy to say, but this year has been one of the best years for me. And both for my career outside of YouTube and also the channel. I went from like, I don't know, 3,000 subscribers at the beginning of the year to like getting close to 40 now. My job, because I'm in sales in an industry that boomed during COVID, like I've made more money this year than ever. And like I don't even know how to explain that to all the people who are struggling. It makes me feel almost guilty a little bit, you know? Like I
Mm,
feel sort of bad that like I had a great year, but everywhere I look, it's just chaos or sickness or, I mean, you name it, poverty or people getting kicked out of their house so they can't pay their rent, or they're having to shut down their business. And they have all of their savings in their business. Like it's such a weird feeling for me. It's very strange, very strange.
I I would say the best thing you can do though is just be thankful. Be like,
For
we're
sure.
both blessed to be like in the positions that we are and that we're working towards. And do know that God does help people that like help themselves. That's a big thing I always try to say and think about. So it's just like as long as you don't give up on yourself and you just keep striving, like good things will happen. And
Yep.
especially for people like us, it's more important than ever to give back, whether that's giving out free value, teaching people when we can, or just even giving away money if you can, giving away gift cards, just spreading goodwill. If you have the money to like the expendable income and it's just sitting there, like do something with it. Try to
Mhm.
be helpful, donate here and there. You can do a lot of different things, but just like as long as you're in a position to give away and you can, I feel like you should.
Yeah.
um and it's not always possible and it can be hard at times, but just try to be a good person and goodwill and good spirited person. If you can give back and you're in a fortunate position, I think that's the best you can do, honestly, or at least help people out that are struggling, whether it's information or something tangible.
What do you think about giveaways on your channel? Is that something that's in the future?
Oh, for sure. So
And
like
what are you gonna give away? Like, what's the first thing?
honestly, this the person that inspired me to do this whenever in YouTube is, believe it or not, was Rice Gum. Now, Rice Gum is a very controversial person, but I'll never forget when I used to watch his videos when I was younger. Just midway through the video, he'd be like, "All right, guys, you know what? I feel good. On screen, Amazon gift card, Amazon gift card, Amazon gift card." Like, I don't know why, I just really enjoy it and love that. And like, YouTubers can make some bank. I'm
For
gonna be
sure.
honest with you. Like, there's some channels in certain niches that make way more money than others, and they make stupid money at times. So
Hmm?
it's just like if you took some of that money and just did random giveaways here and there. And I don't want to be the type of person that hypes out. I don't want to be like, all right, guys, this Friday we're doing a giveaway. I just want to be completely random. Just like, okay, I'm talking about a topic. Oh, by the way, if you guys want to buy, or have Destiny to be on light, here's 3 codes on screen. Like, just super nonchalant, just like you never know when it's gonna happen. Just surprise people.
Yeah.
Or if I'm just on Twitter at night, I'm just like, all right, here, you guys hope you have an amazing night. Here's 3 different codes for Chick-fil-A or Starbucks. And I guess I kind of got that from Rice Gum, but also I know some like wealthy people that are my friends that do that on their Instagram and Snapchat, and they're just like, I feel like I'm having a good day today. Here you go, $25 Starbucks gift cards on me.
It's great.
So I really want to do that if or when I get to the point where I'm blessed enough to have that expendable income.
Yeah. I've been hosting like racing tournaments on the channel. We do like a stream, and we'll have like 21 people come in and race, and I'll give away like $5 or $10 for every person that wins. And then at the problem is my damn audience, they're so generous. Everybody that like shout out to the audience, because every time I do a giveaway stream like that, like a tournament, when I start giving away money, I end up getting the same amount or more in donations that stream. And I'm just like, guys, I'm trying to give it back to you guys, and you keep giving it back to me. But it makes me feel good, man. It's an amazing thing. Generosity is something that I've been drawn to over the last year, particularly with the channel, because you know you start to make a little bit of money, and it kind of feels good at first, but then you're like, it almost doesn't feel. To me, it almost doesn't feel like a job. It's like I love doing this. This is something I would do regardless if I was getting paid or not. But the fact that I'm getting paid on this, I just want to give people stuff. Like, here, dude, here, have a free copy of Need for Speed. Here, you know, just like you're saying, I to be honest, I do hype it up a little bit because I want people to come into the streams. But I admire that. That's a really good way to look at it. I also follow a few like Twitter personalities that do a lot of giveaways, and I love that style. Just giving because you just want to be generous. Like we need to spread that positivity. I feel like the world needs that.
Like if more YouTubers and bigger people, as they get bigger, start doing that, it would like make other people do it. And other people might not do it for the same reason. They might just be like, oh, I want to be cool too. All right, guys, I'm giving away some more stuff. And if you're legit about it, you know, everyone has their different motives, but as long as the end goal is that people are getting stuff out of it, like, I know YouTube's free, and people say that, well, you watch my content free, you don't pay for anything, right? I have to give you something. But it's just like, have that mindset of just like constantly giving back, because trust me, at any point, everything you worked for on YouTube or any content creation site whatsoever can be taken away so fast, whether it's through a controversy or YouTube just doesn't like you or YouTube glitches out. Like, be blessed, man. If you're working hard in content creation, never take it for granted, because at any moment, oh, that cushy job you have, you do this and whatnot. Okay, I'm gonna find a tweet from 11 years ago. I'm about to end you. Or like, oh, YouTube's gonna bug out. We don't run ads on videos anymore. Sorry, buddy. Go figure out how you're gonna live, you know?
God,
and if people remember that you were like a dick and you like had this very like, I don't feel like I should give anything, or you should always donate to me. You know, there's people like that out there. Just like, I do what I do. Why are there not more donations coming in? Come on, guys. Come on. Like, karma's going to get you eventually, you know?
For sure. For sure. Yeah, that's... I would never do that. I can't even imagine doing it, but I know there's a lot of people that do. They want their donations to pay their bills every month. It's like, yikes. Maybe provide some value for your audience first. Oh, man.
I hate to throw shade, but there are people out there that are like, you know, I don't know, they take it for granted, and they really shouldn't. And I can see how they could do that. You know, some people get really big. Like, having 1 million subscribers, just think about that, man. You have 1 million eyeballs on what you create. That's definitely going to inflate your ego a little bit, you know. Everyone has their own ego. But it's just all about how you regulate and control that ego, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So switch topics. What other games do you play besides Destiny?
Okay, so there are 3 franchises that I'm a diehard fan of.
Okay.
And I cycle between all 3 of them. If it's not Destiny, then it's the Naruto Storm series. And if it's not the Naruto Storm series, then it's the Fallout series. Those 3 games and like franchises, that's the only thing I ever play. Throughout, I'm only 20, but like as I've grown up, like I've always either played one of those 3 games, if not all 3 at the same exact time.
And you've started it with Destiny 1?
Honestly, the first game that I really got big into was Naruto. Like, I don't know, those fighting games, like from PSP to Xbox One, like to now I played on PC. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I'm just a diehard Naruto fan. And like the video games just get me so hyped, especially the Storm series, because you know, it's super competitive and super fun.
That's cool. That's cool. Like I said, man, I've played a lot of Destiny, and I've probably have played almost as much Fallout. So I'm right there with you on those 2 franchises for sure. And then of course racing. I like racing, so that's a big thing for me. Man, when I grew up, like when I was getting my first car and stuff, Fast and the Furious was just becoming a thing. So like street modding and that type of stuff, it's like my generation completely. So yeah, Need for Speed was a huge thing for me since, you know, back in the day. for sure.
I've definitely played a lot more games, a lot like Overwatch, Valorant, and a ton of other games. But those are three that I always find myself coming back to. And I hate to say this, but like as we've gotten into this age of like, video game publishers and developers care more about their bottom line than actually making like
Hmm.
good games nowadays. I just find myself being like, why should I go even try another game, or like why
Right.
should I get invest in this? Because like every single game you run into, like there's gonna be microtransactions, there's gonna be different DLCs that come out all the time. It's
Mhm.
always something that you have to keep buying or doing. So it's like if I'm gonna like be invested in something, let me just please let it be just one thing. I don't want to spend $100 on Overwatch skins and then spend $100 on Valorant skins because like I'm that type of person. Like I gotta just put my eggs in one basket. At least when it comes to gaming, right?
Yeah,
I just
sure,
want to
sure.
have one franchise I love. That's all I play. And like when I'm done with it, I log off for the day. I go do my IRL stuff. But I always know that I can come back to that one series. So
Destiny's a
that's the way
great
I
game
see
for
it.
that.
Yeah.
It's
I know some
super
people they're
deep.
like they play a lot of different things all over the place, but no, I'm like one of those gamers like I'm gonna focus just on one game. I'm gonna become really good at it or at least enjoy it a lot, and then that's all I'm gonna play until I'm sick of it.
Sure, that makes sense. Makes sense to me. Well, do you have any questions for me before we call this a podcast?
I guess I would say if you could like reflect on, your entire YouTube situation right now, what's the best decision you think you've made? Like what would that be?
Besides the decision to start, because that was the best decision I've ever made. Besides that, it was the decision to what you said earlier, double down on what was working. That's really the biggest thing I made. I made the decision in November of 2019 because I had one video that blew up and I had never seen that before in my life. I was like, oh my God, I made a video that people are actually watching. And the channel was super small. And that one video blew up. And I go, there's room for me at this game. And so I stuck to Need for Speed. That video went off. I stuck to it. So the decision to, I guess, niche down and double down on this thing that was working, that was the best decision I've ever made for my content for sure. 100%.
I will say that's the thing that I've learned. I would actually say pretty recently, because I've had a video that has more than 1 million views, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I did not double down on that content just because I was like, I don't know if I want to be known for that or like do that. It's not that I'm still proud of the video. I'll
Sure.
let you know. It's why do pro players play their keyboard sideways? It's like 1.5 million views, but I
Wow.
didn't want to be stuck in that like video essay or like gaming video essay type of content. But I look back on it now and I'm like, what if I just doubled down on that
Mm-hmm.
and then doubled down and then literally, which the advice I gave now is like over the course of like everything I've ever done on YouTube. But if I knew that then, which was like a year and a half ago, if I knew to double down on that and then experiment with my own content once I got big enough, we would probably be having a very different conversation right now.
Sure.
My life would have drastically changed for sure. But I don't know. That I would say that's the biggest thing. Just like on YouTube, definitely doubling down and niching down, like just getting really good at one thing.
Yeah.
Those two things will really take you far.
Yeah. I agree. I agree 100% because when you make a piece of content and someone sees it and then decides to subscribe to that channel, they're subscribing based on what you already fed them. So they're expecting that again in a different form or maybe more information about something different, but in the same topic. They really, it's a weird psychology thing that I've had to kind of learn over the last year or 2 years when I'm making content. I'm like, I need to make the stuff that everybody is asking for. It sounds simple, but as a creator, you're like, I want to make this, and I want to make that, and I want to
Yeah.
make this, and you're like, but that doesn't work. You need to make one thing and then elaborate, go deep. Find one thing, go really deep on that one thing. That would be my
Yeah.
advice.
It took me a while to learn. And I guess when people have a video that blows up, they really think that whatever they do now, they're like, oh, well, I'm blowing up. They love me for me. And that's not always the case.
Not
Sometimes it
always.
is, depending
Yeah.
on what blew up. But a lot of the times it's like, think about what blew up. Was it you or was it the video topic? And you have to keep that in mind, especially if you're starting off, because it's like they did subscribe for a very specific reason. And your YouTube analytics will tell you that. You can see how many subscribers came from a specific video.
Yep.
So if you know you gained 10K subs or 5K subs off of one video that went super viral, do know they're expecting content that's just like that.
Yep.
So it's your job to double down and feed them more content just like that. If you want to grow, that is.
Yeah, exactly. There was a question, because this is something I personally like to do. I have a question for you regarding the audience. Actually, it's twofold. One is, how often do you interact with the audience in terms of like the comment section, DMs, that type of thing? And then how do you handle the hate? How do you handle the haters?
I had a feeling you'd ask this. So believe it or not, I kid you not, if you go on my Boofcan channel, there's not a single comment I haven't responded to.
That's awesome.
And I think it's very important to do that as much as you can, especially starting off, because it sends signals to the algorithm. It's not only me just wanting to interact with people, it also does benefit the channel, right? It shows a lot of engagement, because if you type something that in the form of question, so someone asks me a question and I answer it, but then also follow up with another question, it starts a comment chain.
Yep.
And YouTube's going to see that. They're like, oh, there's a lot of comments. People must like this video. Push it out more.
Right.
So I always like to set aside at least 1 hour a day just to try to just hammer through comments. It's usually like around 7 or 8 p.m. I'll sit there and I'll be like, especially if I've already uploaded for the day, I'll just go through. And YouTube makes this easy because there's a section in there that says comments I haven't responded to.
That's right.
So I get on my comment section. I'm just like, all right, let me hammer through this the best I can. And I actually got caught up this week. Now, I know there's going to be more because it's a new day, but I like to do that.
Yeah.
In terms of hate, I have certain words blocked out due to the color of my skin, of course, things of that nature, those slurs and whatnot. Those I refuse to respond to. I'm not going to respond to something that's ignorant or racist or anything like that.
Right.
But if it's just genuine hate content, like hate comments, which I don't like to call it hate comments. It's just someone that disagrees with your comment.
Sure.
And whatnot.
Trolls, whatever.
Yeah, it's not always hate. Some people do hate, but I'll either get smart with them or like I'll be so sarcastic. Like I got a comment the other day that was like, "Bro, your outro." It was something that's like, "World's most annoying outro," and I was like, "You're right, man. This guy, his music's too loud, too much stuff going on. Why does he have falling bananas? This is dumb. I'm gonna tell him to remove it." And I just, I just respond back. I just match the energy because it's just like it doesn't bother me.
That's
now
good.
I haven't had a controversy or anything bad that's like people are attacking me as a person or my character.
Right.
I haven't experienced that yet, and I hope I don't. But I mean, everyone messes up, so I'm sure it's gonna happen eventually.
Sure.
But with that, I always try to like just put myself in their shoes. Though I try not to like, be super hateful or spiteful because there's some things that will crawl into your skin, and it's the weirdest things. Everyone has their own different like takes. So like, what bothers you might not bother me, but what bothers me might not bother you. So it's just like I always try to think if I feel something that's like I feel that you get that feeling. It's just like you get that anger. It's just like I can't believe what I'm reading. I always like to step back and not respond. Like I like to wait a little bit, let myself cool down a little bit. So I'm like, why am I letting this comment affect me? Let me think about my words before I use them,
Yeah.
And then I'll come back and I'll respond. But anything that's like ignorant, super racist, just completely like uncalled for, I don't respond to. I'll just delete the comment. And I also find myself deleting a lot of bot spams and things.
Tons of bots.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Tons of bots. It's like every video I get at least 4 to 5 comments that are just like some porn site. It's like, YouTube, clean it up, man. This is very obvious.
I care about my like viewers too. Like I don't like seeing people get scammed, and that's like just me as a person. Like I don't like to scam people. I don't like to see people getting scammed. So if I notice a trend, I'll be like, okay, they're always commenting, "Hello, cutie, you want to see me?" I'll put that as like a blocked word phrase just to protect my audience, So I do a lot of things on the back end that you won't ever see, but I try to keep the comment section pretty clean.
Yeah.
And like I make sure there's like 0 links whatsoever that people can post, unless like it's giving credit to something and need be.
Sure.
Like I made a post about Reddit and someone posted the original Reddit thread, even more stuff on it. So I was like, okay, I'll let these links slide in the comment section. I know they're not, malicious.
Yeah. Was that the 16-player Nightfall?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's a weird thing. I mean, I don't want to get too deep into it, but I was watching the video. I'm like, this looks fun. I hope the Bungie's paying attention. I would love to do that.
I get a lot of my video topics from Reddit, And Reddit is a slippery slope because in a way, sometimes I feel like I'm just stealing content. So I try to make sure that like I'm always like crediting them.
Yeah,
I watermark the crap out of my own content. Well, it's their content, it's their gameplay, but I watermark the crap out of it just knowing that hey, this is their stuff, you know. And if someone messaged me and is like, hey, I didn't like that you used my gameplay without asking me, then I will take down the video. Yeah, that's gonna hurt me in my channel because like that's a lot of views and it's bringing a lot of traction. But I always try to make sure that like I do as much as I can, and I always try to evoke that like fair use. You know, try to
sure.
add more to it, not just re-upload it, so it is in a good spot. And I pinned one of the guys that was like, "Hey, I have a YouTube channel too," you know. So I was like, "Oh crap, let me pin that." And so that's the pinned comment on the video right now. So that is a slippery slope right there. I don't like stealing people's content, but that was something that was just like that is too good to not show. You know, I
Right,
really want more eyeballs to see that.
right.
But yeah, I did feel a little bit bad because I was like, well, they could have made the video, but they didn't make the video. So I don't know.
It's a weird thing for sure. It's a gray area. Um, do you think the video was possible to make without the footage? I mean, I don't think so,
No,
but
unless the glitch happened to me personally,
right,
there's no way I could have done that. Because no, I can't just talk about something and not show footage of it. They're gonna be like,
right,
bro, why you lying?
right, right.
Stop the
Exactly,
cap.
exactly, exactly. So how do you trigger it? You said in the video it's like no one knows how to make it happen, but like who is it happening to? Like
It's
why
just
is it happening?
random. It's like
Completely
winning the
random.
lottery. It's just like you go
Wow.
to the tower doing like your normal thing, and you think, oh, all right, I'm gonna go to the tower, do what I need to do in the game. Nope, I got dumped into a nightfall. That's literally how it works. It's like,
It's
wait, where am I?
crazy. It's crazy. It
Yeah,
makes me think they're experimenting with something.
that's what people have been saying. But like, as I've like looked more into the topic, apparently this is something that's been happening since day one of Destiny. But it's like super, super rare. But it's so rare that there's never footage of it. It's kind of like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it's a myth.
Who
Everyone
would
talks
be
about it.
recording?
Yeah,
That makes
they're not
sense.
content creators. Like the people that happens to, they're not content creators. It's like, why would it happen? But now that we have PS5s and PS4s and Xboxes that can record now, we're starting to see a lot more footage of it. Especially now that it's been happening a lot more with Beyond Light. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying that could be like a background test, but I don't want to hype that up because, not to be pessimistic, but Bungie, I don't know, they're not doing too hot. They're always It's always like they take 3 steps forward to take 2 steps backwards, but I still love the series anyways.
Yeah. The community seems to be a little bit frustrated with the stasis, and I don't know.
Just
What are your
wait.
thoughts?
Just wait. You see all the like the hate right now. When the next season comes out, everyone's gonna be hyped. And then if it's good, then they'll love it for a while. But then it'll get stale, so you'll see more hate. And it's just a never ending cycle. Like I honestly feel bad for the developers.
For
It's
sure.
like they're screwed if they do, they're screwed if they don't. So it's just like Destiny is its own little monster that's just like I don't know how they manage it. So at times I'm like, wow, they're really being incompetent. But sometimes I'm like, I have to put myself in their shoes. Like there's like 20 different things or 12 different things that need to be fixed all at once when it
Right.
comes to that game.
Right.
And I don't know. I feel like it's a really weird state. I can't really say anything else about it more because like I don't work at Bungie. I'm not in their shoes, but it is Destiny is an interesting game in that like regard. You know,
Yeah.
it's I don't think I've seen any other game like that where like the community is so hot and cold at the same
Super
exact
hot
time.
and
It
cold.
just depends on what time of the year it is and what's
Yep.
going on in the game.
I think they're probably used to it by now. You know, they put out something they thought was a great idea. Turns out we didn't really like it that much. Then they try to make something better the next time around. I mean, it's a cycle.
Yeah, it's a game like Destiny. It definitely you're never gonna like appease everybody. You know,
No.
you're gonna do something. This side of the game's gonna hate it. You do this, they're gonna hate it. You know, or this side's gonna love it, but this side hates it. Like it's
Right.
such a weird thing to see. But I'm in it for the long haul. I want to keep doing this stuff. It's through the end of this year, so I know for guaranteed all the way up until 2022, I will be making Destiny content. Like that's gonna happen.
Awesome.
But after that, we'll see what happens. You know,
Yeah.
if we hit the 100K goal, I don't know if I really am like still loving the channel. I'll keep going, but I do know that my dreams aren't. My end goal is not Destiny. You know.
Yeah. I get it. Well, I don't want to take too much more of your time, man. I really appreciate it. I know that this was a very random and super quick. You responded really quickly, and we threw this together really quickly. So I really do appreciate you coming on. And like I said, this is a young podcast. We just started this, and I've been more and more interested in other creators and how they operate and how, you know, their journey, their story. So I thank you so much for sharing it with me, and I really appreciate your generosity as well.